It may sound to some that there is a certain contrast when it comes to religion and my perception of them, or, well, my acceptance, or whatever people may try to interpret when it comes to me and how I function. See, in many cases, it seems that I respect religions, and sometimes it seems that I just simply specifically reject them. See, it's not about accepting or rejecting something. There are two levels of acceptance of something. You either accept them unconsciously, and once something is accepted unconsciously, it is a possibility that it will appear as a distraction from one's pains. So, unconscious acceptance of something typically tends towards that becoming slowly and surely an obsession, but not in all cases. When someone accepts something consciously, well, conscious acceptance means you accept it the way it is. It is a piece of meaning in the end. Meaning doesn't serve me much of an importance. It doesn't serve me much of a purpose or a role, a goal, or anything. It is something I make use of in an attempt to understand people's ways of expressing themselves and people's way of understanding things. Understanding is self explanatory as a point because you're not on the point, you're almost, right? Understanding, right? You're almost into the point, right? Understanding means trying to get a mental grasp of it. You're not using your inner senses, your inner power to make it become part of yourself so that you can perceive it. You're just trying to make use of a lower level of yours, which is the mind, right? You're not using any discriminatory aspect. You're only using the discriminatory aspect towards the concept of the concept. Because when you say creation, you're saying a concept. You're not feeling creation itself. That's why you're understanding it. You're not on the point of creation. You can only perceive creation through your inner being. When you look deep down inside and you start feeling the billions of cells that exist within you and that work in union so that you can perceive this world at the perfection as is, not just living in your own silly mind and, you know, keeping up with all the thoughts that everyone else put into your mind that you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, and you're not going to make anything useful. See, someone's religion uh, is their own little concept. It can be their own little filth, or it can be their own salvation, or it can be anything in between. Because meaning is like a tool. You can use it to build, you can use it to destroy, you can simply leave it there and simply move on. Or you can simply look at it and glance at it, even if you don't understand anything. When you finally see something complex, a tool that is complex, like for example, steampunk stuff, right? When you see a watch with all its little gears and the such, maybe as a child you don't know necessarily how it functions, but it does impress you in the end. Maybe concepts and meanings tickle your mind, especially the more obsessed people become with the mind. Everything in their life must make sense, if not, it is simply irrelevant. That's why you see people shunning religion away because they cannot grasp the concept of something they cannot touch, see, or perceive with their own senses. Yet, you can easily shun religion away, but you cannot shun creation away. Religion, in a way, is a reminder that creation exists, but only through certain practices can one become capable and knowledgeable of creation and becoming aware of creation. Because if this awareness, if this grace doesn't exist within someone, you will just pray uselessly towards something that you simply cannot comprehend, and having expectations out of something that you don't know and you also can't comprehend, that is a problem in the end because it can end up to some, psychiatry degrees and not diploma degrees, not that some levels of psychiatry treatment would be needed. That's what I was meaning in there. See, I don't regard much people's religion because a religion is a set of ideas, And how people interpret those ideas is kind of always going to be problematic, more or less. When you still have people fighting for the same thing that our ancestors used to fight 1,000 years ago, I would rather not dive into the madness of the such. Because if something is meant to be pure, people simply desecrate it with all sorts of nonsensical meanings and, inner issues that they simply turn outwards and try to bash on others' heads. If people have abandonment issues, they start imagining that they are the only God's favored and such. I'm not interested in the such, and is one of the reasons. Well, I don't need reasons to shun meaning away. It simply doesn't make too much sense within me. And I only have a few directions in which I direct meaning because I'm interested in creating a few things. I don't have time to get distracted with other people's things. Most people's meaning is their own suffering. Most people suffer because of religion. That's a problem. They're not using that in the proper way. They're having expectations. They're having way too many expectations, even of their people, their children, their parents, the God, the government, and the such. And that is one of the reasons why they're suffering. Religion doesn't have any fault in that. But when it comes to meaning and the such, people typically make a mess out of their existence because of investing too much into those pieces of meaning. So I prefer not giving attention to the monkey mind because it only wants your attention, and what you give to the mind is what will come back. What you consume will consume you back. And never forget, the mind can simply create endlessly. So the problem is, don't mess too much with the mind. You mess up your mind, your life will be messed up, beyond recovery in many people's cases. So, with these being said, someone's meaning is their own suffering. I'm not interested in it. If they wish to make a suffering out of it, it is their own. I'm not here for other people's suffering. Other people's energy also doesn't suit you because each one has their own unique energy. When you touch other people, when you invite their energies into your body, they may be loving even, but still their energies are their own. It's not that they're gonna be poison to yourself, but extra energies in your body will ultimately mean extra information. The more information one has in their body, the more fucked up their mind will become, the more fucked up their body will become. And the more such energy from others that you have, especially if it is disruptive and self destructive and the such, you will also feel it as if it is part of your system because that energy now, for a certain period of time, will be within you. And you will start feeling as if there's bugs crawling over you, inside of you. You will feel that you simply can't sit still for 5 seconds because your body reacts to all of these energies. But because you're an ignorant, you prefer to simply not take those into account, but you're still suffering the consequences. So this is one point that could sum up why I simply uh, don't take meaning seriously. To me, it is a part of my course, it is part of my function. I don't naturally give too much importance to most pieces of meaning. I obviously need meaning in my life because I'm not a guru living outside of societal norms and meanings. But even within this society, I don't need to make a mess out of my life through meanings. My family did that enough for me, so I still have a lot of things to purge through. But I don't need too much meaning in my life. That's one reason why even some of my friends may feel a bit disappointed that I can't get hyped in games or that I can't simply be impressed much by video games. To me, a video game ultimately is a set of images and sounds. The emotional meaning and other parts that people invest into, that is a different dimension of life, and I prefer using it for creational purposes, not for self-destructive ones. But as I said, everyone's meaning is their own pain if they wish to make out of it, if they wish to make that out of it. Because in the end, only through suffering will people break out of certain levels of misery. Most likely I have done that in previous lifetimes, that I am not affected by those in this one. So I prefer focusing on my own levels. I just can't wait for the others. Everyone will reach their enlightenment sooner or later. I have to handle my own enlightenment in the end. All these being said, hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferenjan Board signing out.